I just hope that the new generation of scholars, particularly people like our children, will at some point get the opportunities that we got. That we could go back and forth freely. We got to, open doors and explore and get to know people how they are, just to get to know people. Because, and this goes past also back down to the whole China-Africa thing. We work at a very high geopolitics level, for better, for worse. But actually, a lot of my actual research is very micro. It's very, very micro, because I do fundamentally think that at the micro level, that's where you realize that there's more in common with each other than there is different. It's like for people who don't like small talk, but actually, the small talk, that when you actually see an individual and not the big geopolitical war or conflict and tension that's behind, you realize that actually this person's concerns are very relatable. And it makes a lot of sense. They just want to better their life. They just want to make sure their child has access to cancer treatment. They just want to make sure their kid can get into a better school. Or they just want to make sure, they've got access to better healthcare. It's just quite basic, quite relatable. And so I think that it's really important to get the micro stories right. And then in order to then sort of insert them within the bigger geopolitical story in the right way. And so I think this is kind of what's missing. If we talk about sort of, again, what's missing, I do still think that excellent ethnographies are still lacking. We're still very much at the macro level, which is fine, which is, of course, valuable and important. And we all worked in different ways on, on the geopolitics of global China. But the importance of the micro is just, I can't stress it enough, and that's what you get when you spend a year in China, or when you spend a year in the DRC, or you know what I mean? Or when you spend, many years in Vietnam or in Southeast, that's just that day-to-day level of interaction, of exposure, and just understanding what life means to the average man and woman and child on the street. And then you get a much bigger picture of actually what this is all about. Then you can actually start grounding these big, abstract, intangible slogans, the BRI and harmonious wealth. You can start grounding it in real places, in real people, in culture, and in the value they give to their work, and in the value they give to, what they strive for. And I think the more we have of that kind of local descriptive, work and analysis, the better.